Welcome back to SurgeCast, the vodcast that inspires creators to be better creators. Thank you for joining me, everybody. If you're new here, consider subscribing and following the show. On today's show, we have someone whose goal in life is to get you to use AI. He's a huge proponent of AI and believes everyone should be using it. Whether you're a podcaster or multi-million-dollar corporation, AI can help you in your daily workflow. Today, we're talking to Mark Savant. Let's get into it. Mark, thank you very much for coming on SurgeCast. I really appreciate your time, man.
Glad to be here, John. Excited to talk shop with you, brother.
I couldn't believe it. I messaged you through LinkedIn and I'm like, hey, I'd like to do an episode with you. And you're like, achievement unlocked. Let's do it. I love it. I love it, man. You're so open to doing like these type of things. I love it.
Podcasting still remains one of the best ways to meet new people, to drive cold traffic to your brand. So I very rarely pass down an opportunity, especially when it's with John. I mean, come on.
Well, I appreciate that. But I've been kind of stalking you on social media only to get some background for this episode. And I noticed that you're in Florida. Like, I love Florida. I've lived in Florida for, I want to say 10 to 12 years, and I was up in the Sanford area and then over on New Smyrna Beach by Daytona. So Florida, I think, is where it's at. Like, I love tropics. I'm trying to get my wife to move down there, but she's afraid of the hurricanes.
Well, look, I mean, no matter where you live in the world, there's always going to be some sort of environmental disaster. The benefit of being in Florida is if there's a hurricane, you can prepare for it. You know when it's coming. Like, it's not like a fire or an earthquake or something like that, like, so you can predict it. But the reality is Florida is a great place to live. It's beautiful. People are awesome. We're very liberty and freedom focused. There's no state income tax, so it's very entrepreneur friendly. Florida's the place to be. Not to mention down here in Southeast Florida, like, it's becoming a huge tech hub. Tons of crypto stuff happening, AI development, new media. There's always something to do. So I can't sell Florida hard enough.
Yeah, I remember we started a business over here in New York back in like 1993, 1994 or something like that, and we had moved it down to Florida because of the taxes, because of the tax break, and it works out. Florida's a great state, but it's like I wanted you on the show today because I wanted to talk to you about business. I wanted to talk to you about AI. Right. I've been binge watching your content on YouTube, and I love it. Like, you put out some amazing content on YouTube, and I love watching your speaking when you do speaking commitments. I'm so sorry. When you do speaking commitments, I love watching that kind of stuff because I want to get into that. I want to start doing more of that and promoting my brand and promoting corporate podcasting, whether it be internal or public podcasts. But, I love your content and how it's centered around AI. But first, I want to talk about how you went from being a sales rep at Best Buy to a six-figure corporation. Like, how do you do that? Like, can walk me through the process? Like, because is it luck? Is it sheer determination? Is it like just do the work? What is it?
Man, it's taking small steps to improve yourself daily. We overestimate what we can complete in 1 year, and we dramatically underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 years. And it's just been a process of just getting better, making mistakes. One of the things that I think young entrepreneurs really struggle with is challenges and hardships and problems, but those are, I think it's important to actually celebrate them. And I know that sounds narcissistic, sadistic in a way, but you in order to achieve something great, in order to achieve your dreams, there are gonna be challenges that you have to overcome. So when a challenge comes, we need to really like face it head on. And there's been so many. You know, I've got this podcast agency that's growing. I've got an AI newsletter that's growing, and it's it's just crazy. Like just last month, I lost a client, and I was like, "Dang, that stinks." And over the next week, I gained two more clients. You know, so trying to not get too high, but not to get too low has been important as well.
Mm. So just sticking at it, I think, just like doing the work, putting the work in, and because there are times where as an entrepreneur you are gonna take a loss. You are going to fall back one, two, three steps, and but it's how you pick yourself up, I think, from that.
It's really important. And also, I don't think I could ever work for anyone again. I was and by the way, lifetime employee, but I remember working at Best Buy. There was something that happened that was really upsetting to
Mm.
me. In my opinion, I was one of the better employees in the store. I was what they called a floater. And so I would float to every different department. So I was knowledgeable about everything from TVs to computers to appliances. I knew every department in the store. I knew home audio. I knew car audio. I knew everything. Where I knew a lot about everything.
Mhm.
And I went to management and I said, "Hey, y'all, I want to step up. I want to move to a supervisor position. I've been in this position for a while. I see there's some positions opening up. I'd like to get one of those positions." And they said, "Okay, well, this is what we want you to do. We want you to organize a special volunteer group where you're going to help local organizations and get people together." So I did that. They said, "We need you to step up and work this shift that nobody wants." Did that. And so I did all these different things that management asked me to do, every single one of them, John.
Mhm.
But when the time came to hire someone for that supervisor position, not not only did I not get selected, they went outside to another store and brought in someone that was a complete doofus,
Wow.
totally like not leadership. And I was like, this is bull crap. I've been put in, I did everything you asked me to do, and I'm not rewarded for it. And I like Best Buy as a company. It was a fun job. I like the people I worked with. But, one of the things I love about entrepreneurship is you get to take the bull by the horns. You get to live and die by your own mistakes and 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 successes. And I just find so much joy in that. If I have a bad month, that's on me. That's not because my manager didn't want me to do better or my manager didn't want me to come for his job. No, it's because of myself. And I found a lot of enjoyment in the process. And quite frankly, talk about AI, we're moving into a phase of humanity where every single industry is going to be disrupted.
Yes.
Every single person at every single level of every single industry is going to be challenged. So now is just a phenomenal time to find new opportunities and to really carve out a unique space in your market.
Well, it's funny you bring up AI because you are like everything I found on you on whether it be Google or YouTube, you are always talking about AI. Like that is your thing, right? So, um, what do you think about the rise of the machines? The benefits of using AI. I mean, as far as a creator, let's say, what would you?
Let me give you I'll give you an example. I'll give you a reason why this is so important to me. Back in 2022, I was still working at an insurance office. I was managing an insurance agency, hated it, worst, do not recommend it, soul sucking. But so I was working at this insurance agency, and on my side hustle, I was building my podcast and marketing
Yeah.
company. And I got the dreaded call that every business owner is going to get at some point, which is, "Boss, I quit." I had a key team member quit. He's moving to Spain. He's going to university. Peace, deuces. And I said, "Oh crap, now I have to do this work."
Mm.
So I picked up that workload, started doing the work, became immediately overwhelmed. My wife is like, "You don't spend enough time with me, not getting enough sleep." It's living that. And I started using AI to streamline my workflows. John, I saved 90% of my time. I cut expenses by up to 90% in certain areas. And I was like,
Wow.
this changes everything.
Wow.
This changes everything. 3 months later, I quit that day job. I went all in on my agency and I haven't looked back. I burned the boats. I was profitable right then and there. So when you touch it, when you experience AI, when you realize that I go from working a job I hate to, oh my gosh, I have freedom, I have decision making, I have importance, and I'm working in a field that's going to be hyper relevant, hyper relevant. It just changes everything. And this is, like I said, this is coming from every single company at every single level. Walmart is planning to automate 65% of their stores within the next 12 months.
It's crazy.
By the way, retail, Walmart is the biggest employer in the United States, over 2 million employees. Retail employs or is associated with 1 in 4 people. 1 in 4 people are directly impacted by the retail space. This changes everything. That's not to even mention Amazon, Target, McDonald's, almost fully automated stores already. You've got AI drive-throughs. They've got robots bringing out your food. The fast food industry, X-rays. AI is 50% more effective at looking at cancer screenings and MRIs and X-rays. So again, this is going to impact everyone. And quite frankly, most people are not ready for it. Most people are scared of it, don't understand it, but it's just not that complicated. I'm not a software engineer. I'm just a normal guy. And using these tools gave me massive freedom. And I feel like I need to repay that back to the world.
Awesome. You know, I have a friend who's a security guard in the building here in New York City where Google has a headquarters in that building. And he was telling me that they just laid off like a whole department because of AI. And it's crazy. Like AI is really, I don't want to say taking over, but it's kind of becoming an essential tool for business.
I will not hire someone that's not using AI. I was recently looking for a new graphic designer and I interviewed a few people. And one of the big questions I would ask is, hey, what AI are you using to streamline your workflows? And there were several people who said, I don't use AI. I don't like it. It takes away from the creative process, quote unquote. Right. And I said, okay, that's great. But I cannot hire you. I can't. Even if I liked you, even if I wanted to, I can't hire you because you're going to be too expensive. Yeah. Let's say I'm paying you, $15 an hour. You know, I'm going to have to pay you $50 to get something done that it's going to take you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times as long. Right. It might take you 3 hours to create one graphic when I could hire someone that can do it in 10 minutes. You're not you're not employable at that point. Right. So it's kind of like, you know, I just want to smack people across the face with love to say, you got to adjust. Now is the time to adjust. The tidal wave's coming. Start battening down the hatches. We're talking about hurricanes. Now is the time to start putting gas in your garage. Now it's time to put up the hurricane shutters. Now is the time to start preparing for what's coming because it's going to impact every single human on Earth. And I think in a lot of good ways. I think the opportunities are just tremendous. Sure. The tremendous opportunities. It's unbelievable.
Sure. I mean, up until a couple of months ago, I was kind of like against AI, you know, where I was doing things traditionally as far as my production goes with the show, you know, and with writing my show description or posting on socials and, you know, so, but it took my wife, believe it or not, to tell me, listen, you got to start using ChatGPT, you know, to write your show descriptions. I was like, I don't want to, you know, like I'd rather write it myself or, you know, who knows if the algorithm is picking up that you're actually using AI and they might ban you or whatever. And, you know, so it actually took my wife to convince me to start using more AI within my production.
It's good for her. It is such a game changer. And you can automate a lot of this stuff. By the way, I'm sharing all my best stuff, the stuff that's going to change your life on my newsletter at aiupdate.ai. I'm telling you, aiupdate.ai, it's all the stuff that I'm using and practicing, life-changing, business-changing stuff. It's right there for free, completely free. I don't ask you anything except that, I don't know, you reply back if I write something that you like at aiupdate.ai. But dude, you can automate a lot of this stuff too. There's ways to like I'll give you an example of one of my workflows. I finish recording an episode. I'll fill out a Google form. Takes 2 minutes to do that. It sends it over to ChatGPT automatically using Zapier. ChatGPT will take in the information that I've written down
Mm.
in those bullet points. It will write a blog. It'll write an email. It'll upload this. It'll, by the way, if you ask the automation to format the blog in HTML format, and it'll upload it straight to your website. On WordPress, it'll create headers. You can generate images. You can. It's insane.
Wow.
It's really really insane. You can automate that into like an email sequence for guests to follow up with guests. That's something I struggled with. I had a hard time following up with all the guests after the shows are done.
Right.
It's a lot of work. Why not automate it? Because you can. You don't have to stay. You don't have to go to sleep on Sunday night staring at the ceiling saying, "Did I do that? I don't remember." It's all done.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah.
I've been there, bro. I produced thousands and thousands and thousands of episodes. I've been there.
Right.
Why not automate it?
Oh, that would be so easy. Oh man.
Like I said, I didn't go to school. I remember my mom taking me to coding class when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I don't know. I remember how I was 12 years old, 13 years old. I was like 2 classes, I was done. I hated it. I did not like it. I'm not a super technical guy. Like, this stuff is approachable for the average everyday person, for normies like you and me.
Right.
We can leverage these tools to just change our lives. It's going to change a lot. It's going to change marriages. It's going to put food on the table. We're going to see billion-dollar businesses that are run by one person and with automation on the side. Like, this is the kind of stuff that's extremely approachable to normal people. We just need to learn a few key skills, and then you can just absolutely transform your life.
Well, what about, because I know there are a bunch of AI platforms, right? So that do different services. Is there one AI platform that basically does them all?
Well, not exactly. Not exactly. Personally, so one of the problems and one of the challenges that you can run into in this space is there's always a new tool. Like, you've got ChatGPT, you've got Gemini, you've got Llama, you've got all these different Cloudy, you got Grok, all these different platforms. And it's like every week on Twitter, it's like, this is the new king. This is the new king. Out with the old, in with the new. And they're all pretty comparable. My favorite platform right now is ChatGPT. They just released ChatGPT 4 Omni. You can talk to it. It'll talk back to you. It records video. It can interpret video, images. It's unbelievable what it can do. But like, ChatGPT is great for generating images, is a consultant. You can use a lot of automations with Zapier. In fact, a lot of the AI tools that are out there, John, are driven by ChatGPT in the OpenAI API. So at any rate, that's complicated speak for people who are using ChatGPT to develop their programs and to be the underlying AI behind it. So I like ChatGPT, very versatile, very flexible, but there's all sorts of different programs that are useful depending on the task you need. And I think that's a great place to start. Is, what's the problem I have? I'll go to the AIupdate.ai, subscribe to the newsletter, and then just send me a message, send me an email.
Right.
Subscribe and send me an email, and I'd be happy to tell you my favorite tool to solve that problem that you've got.
Awesome. Because, I know if you want like maybe the upgraded versions of some of these AI platforms, you have to pay for them, and the reason why I ask if there's one hub, one platform, is because, it's going to be kind of like the streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Everybody's paying for all these different services, but they kind of do the same thing in retrospect, kind of like,
Sure. Yeah, no, you're right. And again, that's one of the reasons I like. ChatGPT is probably one of the most powerful tools in the history of humanity. It's $20 a month. Quite frankly, you can get a lot of it just for free now. They're made it very accessible. I think prices are going to get driven down on a lot of these tools, because as the technology gets better, it becomes much less expensive for it to process data. Just like storage and microchips, everything, like TVs, bro. Do you remember how expensive flat screens were 20 years
Yeah,
ago?
I remember.
And now it's like $50 for a nice flat screen, you know? And so the same thing is happening in the AI computing and processing space.
Mhm.
Um, there are always going to be new tools, and that's what I'm somewhat obsessed with is what's the problem you have? What's the best tool to fix that job? What's the best tool to fix that problem? So, you know, uh, there's all it's just moving so fast. It's moving so fast, and that's kind of where I'm obsessed with is how do I keep up with that and help other people keep up with it at the same time.
Are you helping corporations or are you helping private individuals? What is the goal of Savant Media?
Well, Mark Savant Media is really focused on helping business owners launch and automate podcasts and develop marketing automations on the back end. And one of it's profitable. It pays the bills. It's a great infrastructure for me. But one of the reasons I love that business, that agency that I have, is it's a guinea pig.
Mm.
I get to test all these different AI platforms. I'm testing out a chatbot. I'm testing out. This is another cool automation I set up. I'm hiring for a new position, and so I set up a link on a posting board. Said, "Hey, I'm hiring. Fill out this form, and I'll get back to you." Basically,
Mm.
and so I'm starting to get people that are filling out this form. So what happens is people fill out this form. The form sends over all the answers to ChatGPT. ChatGPT reviews all the answers. I've already prompted and trained the ChatGPT to review it. ChatGPT reviews all the answers and then puts it into a spreadsheet and ranks people on a basis of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Anybody that ranks lower than a 6 is out. It just says does not qualify. So then I can go and I can use ChatGPT as my pre-screener for any new employee that's looking for a job. Because, bro, it's a lot of work looking through 100 different, 200 different
Sure.
applications. ChatGPT just filters it up to the top. I don't, so that's saving me a ton of time and screening for this new job process. And again, there's so many cool things that we can do with um,
Wow.
a tool and an idea like that.
It sounds like every process of running a corporation, a business, can be automated or in some capacity using AI, and it's revolutionary. I think the time that we're in right now is really amazing.
It solves so many problems of scale.
Yeah.
And people just aren't, I think most normies like you and me aren't aware of what's happened and what's happening now. And that's kind of my goal is to slap people in the face saying, it's here. It's not that bad. It's not that complicated. It will change your life either way. You cannot use
Right.
it and you're probably going to be unemployable based on the reasons I said, or you can use it and you're going to save thousands of hours. You become much more profitable. I wouldn't be profitable without AI,
Mhm.
but it's allowed me to offer the best service in my agency at the best price, while also making sure that I get to spend time with my family and my kids.
Right,
You know,
right. And I think that's a good point that you bring up is that not everybody is going to be on board with AI. So because I don't know if you remember like back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of people were, upset at the immigrants and they were like, oh, they took our jobs, and I think they're going to be the same way with AI where people are going to say, oh, AI took my job, and they're going to be against it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be, I think, a real division within people.
it's again, it is going to happen.
Mm.
People are going to be replaced. They're going to have a very hard time finding jobs unless they're using this technology. The best jobs I think to be in, if you really want to be safe and secure, are jobs that are like blue collar jobs where you really work with your
Yeah.
hands. Like appliance repair, HVAC work, that sort of thing, plumbing. Like you're going to be good, but those are really difficult jobs to do. I worked in HVAC for 6 months. I remember there was this one day where I had to go out to this car dealership and I had to get on top of the roof of one of the buildings to clean out the coil. There's a problem with the coil. It was icing up, that sort of thing.
Mm.
So I remember my ladder would get close to the top, but it wouldn't get right over the top. Bro, I thought I was like, this is one of the sketchiest things I've ever done in my life. I'm 30 feet in the air trying to get over this thing, and I just barely was able to get over. And I was like, I can't do
Yeah.
this. This is crazy. This is crazy. Because what's your boss? Your boss says get the job done. The boss isn't going to say go out and buy a ladder that's 40 feet. He's going to say get it done with the 25-footer. So, um, at any rate, like, those jobs are going to be safe and secure. But I think that, even those jobs are going to be impacted by this technology in a lot of different ways. So, um, at the end of the day, it's approachable. It is coming. It is here. It will change things. And my kind of vision is to help people adapt and adopt and really thrive in this new world. And that's why I'm really passionate about what I'm doing on YouTube
Mhm.
and what I'm doing with the newsletter AIupdate.ai.
Yeah, I think it's really more along the lines of last generation trying to get accustomed to just having computers,
Sure.
and now this generation this is really the next upgrade and, the next evolution of computing, I think, and business.
It's like, what the Enlightenment did for art,
Right.
AI is going to do for everything.
Yeah.
Literally for everything. And what can you do these days that doesn't incorporate your phone?
Right. Yeah. I do everything on my phone.
We do everything. And we could argue pros and cons and whatnot, but the reality is basically everything we do is digital
Mhm.
now. Even heck, your watch is digital, your car is digital, your television is digital, your refrigerator might even be
Yeah.
digital. Everything is digital and connected these days, like the Wi-Fi, the air conditioning, your Ring doorbell, like it's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected. Everything is data. And that's where AI thrives in interpreting large amounts of data and then giving you a result. And, one of the I think to me, the people that are going to be most successful are the people that are leveraging the
Mm.
tools and then layering that with critical thinking. Layering that with critical thinking. To me, that's one of the biggest fears I have, at least for the younger generations, is growing up with all this information and data and right at our fingertips. But you need to have the critical thinking to really be successful. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Google just dropped their new search,
Right.
uh, a new search option, and someone had highlighted that they were having a problem. Someone had searched for the problem, having a hard time getting the cheese to stick to my pizza. Okay.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT said, well, have you tried using a little bit of glue in the sauce to attach the cheese? And you might say, glue in the pizza? Yeah, no, it seems obvious. But if you weren't using critical thinking, if you said, all right, ChatGPT, all right, we'll just do exactly what it
Yeah.
says, you're going to poison yourself or someone
Right.
else. So again, combining the tools, the automations, and then adding on critical thinking on top, you're going to explode your productivity.
Yes.
It's like I said, 90% more profitable in my business overnight.
Wow.
Overnight.
Well, maybe there is something to this AI thing.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. And like I said, I'm big enough that I have resources and I can test different things, but I'm small enough that I can still be very personalized. So, for any of the listeners, go to AIupdate.ai, sign up for the newsletter, and then respond back. Shoot me an email. Email me the question or problem that you've got. I promise you, I'll reply back with the tool or a suggestion on how to solve that problem with AI.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. All right. So I like to end each of these episodes with something I like to call the final surge, right? Where I ask you 3 personal questions, where you answer them as honestly as possible. And, they're not too personal, but they're fun. But so the first question is, how do you take your coffee?
Black.
Wow. You're
Yeah, man.
nice. All right.
And maybe if I'm feeling degenerate, I'll go one cream, one sugar, but
Degenerate.
that's about as far as I go.
Okay. All right. Uh, are you binging anything right now on streaming platforms?
Binging. So this is actually a problem that I suffer with. I've been watching The Sopranos, which is just a great show. But I'm really struggling with distraction. I want to stay focused. So what I'm likely to do after I finish The Sopranos is just delete any streaming service from my phone. because I've already done that with game. You know, I really enjoy Magic the Gathering. It's one of my favorite games. I've been playing it since I was a
Me
kid.
too.
It's great. And then you know, Arena is just it's their digital platform. It's phenomenal. But you know, I can't get sucked into doing that. So I delete, you know, removing the TV from my office, deleting any video games from my work computer, deleting you know, James Clear, it's one of the best books I've read. Atomic Habits by James Clear says you want to make your good habits easier to do and your bad habits harder to do. You know, if I don't want to be distracted by playing Magic, you know, I just delete it from my computer. I delete it. You know, it doesn't mean I can't re-upload it, but it's making it more difficult to play. The more difficult you make your bad habits, the less likely you are to do
Totally
them.
agree.
That's why I don't, you know, don't keep a bunch of sweets in the house, because it's just a lot easier to eat it rather than going to the store.
Right. Yeah, I did that recently where I deleted all the games off my phone, you know, because I figured, you know, I was sitting there for hours. Like, I'm like, no, let's just get it out. I need to concentrate. But all right.
Props to you. Hard to do that, but props.
It was rough, but it's focus. Like, you have to focus on what you want to achieve. And
100%.
The final question is, what book are you currently reading?
I am currently reading Chase the Lion by Mark Batterson. Chase the Lion, if your dreams aren't big enough, or if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. I'm part of a men's group at church, and this is the book we're reading right now. It's been really good. One of the things that really strikes me in the book is that, you know, God is a creator.
Yeah.
And he made us in his image, and he calls us to be creators ourselves. And, you know, his dream for us is to be the best we can be, you know? And anyway, it's kind of a cool way of reframing it, because sometimes I think you can feel guilty when you're making money and you're doing all this stuff and me, but you know, this idea that, you know, it's not really me, it's God that's actually empowering me to do these things. And I'm working through him, and it's his vision for me to be he was a creator. I need to be a creator. He's called me to greatness. I need to achieve that. It's I think a really solid theme in the book.
Awesome. I love it. Mark, thank you very much for doing the show today. I really appreciate your time, man.
John, my man, thanks for having me on, brother. This is great. Congrats on all your success. Congrats on the new show. It looks great, dude. Dig the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I had a great time with Mark, and I hope we can do some more episodes in the future. Make sure you follow Mark on all socials and head over to AIupdate.ai to learn more. And of course, for more episodes or more information on Surgecast, head over to surgemediany.com. Whether you're listening to the podcast on your favorite podcast listening app or watching on YouTube, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, follow button, plus button, hit whatever button you got to hit to get notified of fresh episodes of Surgecast. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.